This is the Architectural Review filmed round table about Adelaide Wharf housing in Hackney, East London. And we're talking about an unusual element in this development, which is the workspace. Let's talk about that. Why is it there?
Well, as Simon mentioned the workspace, which I was really pleased he did, there was always a demand in the scheme to have some commercial aspect of it, and it was decided in the design of it that it would be about 600 square metres. But there was some questions on any commercial space where the take-up would be. But during the discussions with Hackney, they were very keen to see this as affordable workspace. Now, that normally, I could see that being a very critical part of a project because it's quite an expensive part of Section 106. If you're looking at a rental for commercial space against getting what they desired was £1 a square foot rental for a period of time. But that's one of the advantages of this kind of scheme because Elliot and his team can come to us and say, look, this is what Hackney want and this is part of their planning situation. And whereas a normal developer would say, well, no, I can't afford that, it's not going to happen. When you've got a kind of public sector client such as us, we could look at it and say, well, there's benefits to the community and we can measure that against about outputs that we have about creating employment and unemployment opportunities. So we took the view that this was an important part of the overall scheme. And part of the ministers who are sponsoring ministers is the LWI. It doesn't just look at housing, in the 10 years we've talked about. It's actually creating community space, community benefits as well. And one other scheme that Elliot's involved in fact, is providing a playhouse. So it's about those benefits of not only providing housing, but those wider community benefits.
And did the requirement for this workspace throw a spanner in the works, Elliot? Was it something you thought, oh my God, how are we going to put 600 metres of office accommodation into a resi block?
No, I think it actually quite the reverse. I think it really is testament to the approach we took here, which is about flexibility. Adelaide Wharf, from a structural point of view, Sunif has outlined, is a very flexible building, and behind the facades, we have the opportunity to change the uses and the mix of different departments there. So it fitted in very well. But I think it also goes to the broader London-wide initiative story, which is about trying to create mixed-use environments and spaces that work with the local communities rather than just closed environments.
And is there a difference between affordable office space and any other sort of office space? I mean, would you know that whether somebody is paying £1 a foot or £20 a foot?
Well, I think it's actually being managed on all of our behalf by a local trust, which is aimed at sort of encouraging employment in the local area. So I think perhaps the quality of the fit out might be slightly different. But apart from that, for externally, absolutely no difference at all.
And Stephen, is this a repeatable thing? Are you using this idea on other London-wide initiative projects?
Yeah, as I mentioned with other schemes we've got, I think sometimes we look at not just the viability means something different to us sometimes. Viability is about a viable community, and community benefits on those wider opportunities it provides, whether it be employment or housing or social. That's an important part of the initiative, and it's something that the ministers who support us in this scheme are very keen to see come out of. We just don't want to produce on the overall LWI just 5,000 homes. What we're looking at producing 5,000 homes, affordable housing, but also where they obviously contribute to the wider benefits of London, really, as a pan-London programme.
And once you've decided, well, we're prepared to go with, in this case, the 600 metres, is the process that you then have to go back to ministers, or can you do that kind of within your own budgets?
No,
responsibility.
That's the whole benefits of a programme. It's us to assess it. We don't have to go back for individual decisions on individual projects, whereas we are monitored on the overall programme, which is the 16 sites which I turned about earlier. The individual sites were a matter for us, and when I say matter for us, that's as it was English Partnerships, now the HCA, to sign off the individual project. It doesn't have to go back to ministers or any other part of government.
Simon, any particular challenges about mixed use within a residential block?
I think that was Elliot said, it's a positive thing. It was obviously the financial challenge in a normal project is difficult. I think we are opposite what they call a housing estate. And the problem with a housing estate is it's only housing and it is only one tenure. So the idea that we have 3 different tenures and we have commercial accommodation, to me it just makes it more part of the city. And if you could get a shop in there as well, we can't, because there's not enough use. But that all adds to the idea that this is a piece of urban architecture with street life rather than an estate with a dead culture. Monocultural estates don't make great places. So I think we were all very keen on that.
And Hanif, I suppose the idea of mixed use, I mean, in some ways it's taken a long time to reach the residential sector. I mean, even the great landed estates, I mean, you might be mixed use in the sense that you've got a pub on the corner in Belgravia, but generally not a lot else. But actually, when you think about it, why not?
What can I say to that?
I think we reached a natural conclusion on that one.